every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
Welcome back to the Morning Dinner Podcast. On today's episode, we have Olan with us.
Yes.
She's a musician out here in Vegas. She does some really dope. You produce, right? Produce and sing.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead and just give people an intro of who you are and your journey?
Apologize to the crew because I totally didn't write a bio, but
That's all good.
no. Well, yeah. I'm mostly a songwriter. That's my upbringing. But over the last 5 or 6 years, I got into production, and the last 2 years I've been DJing consistently. So lately I've just been trying to blend the two of electronic and live production, and that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
But you write all your own songs too?
Yeah.
Nice.
My DJ sets don't typically have have original music. I make edits for that, but I don't play out my stuff because I'm still scared to do so. Yeah, but yeah.
So I just say going back to what did you start first? Instruments, singing, or?
Yeah, I came from a classical background. My mom had me writing, not writing, what the hell? She signed me up for orchestra and piano lessons when I was 8. And
oh wait, what instrument did you play?
I played violin.
Violin?
Uh-huh.
I play bass.
Dude, okay, I switched to that my junior year of high school. And
Bass?
Yeah.
The big upright bass?
Yeah, it's so fun. It's so much fun.
My goodness.
I found myself switching a lot.
My goodness.
Oh my.
I like those phrases. My goodness.
Oh.
G Willigers.
Yeah.
Stop.
But yeah, I started with violin. I switched to cello in 8th grade, and then like I said, I switched to bass my junior year, and that's also when I started songwriting, actually playing guitar, singing, writing my own songs. I started a band and all that, and it was mostly because I really thought I was going to be an athlete in high school. I was a runner, and then I got pretty sick, and so my time dropped, and I was like, screw this, I'm just gonna.
When you say your time drop, you mean when you're running?
Yeah, I was running a 5K in 20 minutes at 15 years old, and then
that sounds impressive.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna run an 18-minute 5K by my senior year, and I was set on that, and yeah, I got super sick, and the running was just contributing to it, so I stopped. And
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so but it's okay because I'm happier.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sitting on my ass and playing music.
It led to a career in music, and you seem to be doing pretty good in that.
It's been fun.
Chuck showed me one of your songs. The one on iTunes?
Oh, when you leave.
SoundCloud.
Yeah. No.
With Clans.
Yeah.
With
Clans he's an LA homie. Yeah.
That's such a dope track.
Yeah.
I've listened to that track so many times. I was like, damn. I remember when you released it. I was like,
yeah, that was my first that was my first release that I put out that I was really I was really, really proud of that. We took a while, and a lot of it only sounds as full as it does really because of Clans. I was saying before, I'm more of a songwriter, producer, and I'll spend hours and hours on just doing that. But when it comes to the mixing, I can do it, but it's
yeah, it's a whole nother.
It's a whole nother ballgame.
You don't consider yourself a mixing engineer?
Not at all.
Okay.
No. And I usually end up either sending it to someone, or I go as far as I can, on my own, and then I'm I send it for roasting. Yeah. Because I've learned that it's okay that it's not my strong suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I put a lot of heart into the production side of it, and I love learning about it. I love learning about engineering, but I don't see myself being top notch at it for or I know I'll be fine in a few years. Yeah. But it's not something that I'm
well, it's kind of like something. It's kind of like something that me and Chuck talk about too. How do I sound? Do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. I don't know why these headphones make it sound bad.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, me and Chuck always talk about how it's not always the best thing that you do everything for yourself. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to realize your strengths and weaknesses and kind of let people come in and cover what you know what I mean? Whatever helps complement you. Yeah. Is what so for example, if I'm a photographer, I love taking photos, but retouching is not really my strong suit. Or if I like shooting videos, but doing visual effects is not my thing, then it's always good to collaborate with other people and kind of work with other people who can help elevate your project, Yeah. and I think it really came out really nice at the end of the day, because I love that song.
Thank you. Yeah. Nico Clans really took care of a lot of the mixing, and then the mastering was done by this kid who actually was on this Facebook forum. It's called Studio Sessions with Josh Lee, but now it's called Lick. Yeah. He goes by Lick now, and he's on Dead Beats. He's killing it. But back then he mixed it for me and mastered it, and it was it came out really good. But
isn't that crazy about Facebook groups? Like you can literally find anybody now.
Yeah, like that Facebook group was actually pretty freaky because I joined it 4 or 5 years ago, and that was like the admins on it were like Rez and Ghastly, but this is like before they were.
That's crazy.
This is before they were like chugging. Like Rez was only producing for like a year, and so like it's mostly just kids trying to figure their stuff out, and so like on Facebook they'll post like templates and samples, and you can get feedback, and it's really helpful, especially for like kids that live in like Ireland and shit, where you have no sense of musical scene.
Yeah.
And so you have no reference point. You don't have anyone to challenge you. And so like that's where the internet kind of comes in. And
never really thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And there's literally a Facebook group for everything now.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it replaces at all. It really doesn't. But it's much better than just, trying to figure things out on your own. Mm-hmm. So yeah. No, that came out cool. I think going off of what you said, like coming from a live band background, like it's typical to have an engineer. Like everyone else is focusing on producing, and then you hire an engineer to record you. Yeah. And with EDM and hip hop, you have all these like kids, like straight up kids, just making radio hits on their laptop with a shitty pair of headphones, and just like and it's a banger, and they do that, and it's cool, it's great, but it's also created this sort of unrealistic expectation that you have to do everything yourself. Yeah. And like I said before, that's not feasible for a lot of people, and they shouldn't feel any shame if they can't achieve everything by themselves. Yeah.
Because that's how I kind of felt like for a while. I was like, man, I got to do everything, learn everything. Because it is at your fingertips, so it's very easy
You're
to
still
learn
there, bro. I see you dabbling in everything that you...
Yeah. I do, because it's just fun. I just have fun. Yeah. It's not like I'm serious about it. Like, I produce music and all that and whatnot, but...
I've heard a couple little beats.
Little crappy beats.
No, because you had that cool rainbow keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a couple bangers of...
Yeah. It's just like me messing around, trying new things. Like, because one thing, and we've talked about this, not only in my photography and video, like, whatever, what is it? Like, career? I don't want to call it that, but... I've been trying to find my own style still, because I get too influenced really fast, because I'm like, oh, Jersey Club, this shit's so tight. Oh, house or tech house.
It's really easy to get wrapped up in the feeling of excitement when you hear something, and then you try to translate it. But the thing is, and that's something I had to really learn this year too, is the difference of like influence and what is actually coming from you. Because the more you try to the more I try to conceptualize and go after like, okay, cool, I'm going to make a tech house track today, and I'm going to quit in an hour, because I'm not allowing myself to be open to whatever possibility.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that you guys are talking about this right now, because it kind of segues into something that I want us to talk about, is I don't think that even if you feel like you're too influenced or you're too guided by something, I think you should still do it, man, regardless. Like, don't ever say like, oh, I don't want to put this out because then I'll be known as that kind of person, and I don't even know if that's what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. Because there's this. Have you guys ever heard of Rod Stewart?
Yeah.
Rod Stewart, the "Have I Ever Told You That I Love You?" That guy, dude. He started as a rock guy.
Yeah, he did.
And then he moved, and then he followed the money, and then he moved to doing funk and disco music. And then just last week, I heard him on a track with A$AP Rocky.
Do you have a trash can nearby?
No, but I'm saying like the thing is, like, this dude follows whatever is popular, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's a good or bad thing?
To be truthfully honest, I think it's, well, of course, what you love to do and what you want to do.
Yeah.
For me, like, why I say the things I say is because I was influenced by a lot of things that now I literally can't listen to anymore because I'm over it. So if I would have placed myself into that position a long time ago and followed that route, would I have been happy? And yeah, you can always change your name and change your things, but I think I want to follow suit to what I really love. And I feel like everybody has like a core like sound that they really like to an extent, and then they can just branch off on their own music. Like there's like Wazos, Mr. Wazo, or Sophie, or Jimmy Edgar.
I've been on some Sophie lately.
Like Sophie is just she's a he or she an alien.
I actually just listened to one of her songs for this band called Let's Eat Grandma.
Oh, snap.
Tight.
And the music video is super sick, but I've noticed with Sophie, it's not necessarily that the song itself or the rhythms aren't necessarily groundbreaking, but I hear the texture and samples and like the choice of what's being used to achieve the song. It's like, okay, yeah, that's Sophie. Because I could like just the other day I was ripping a rhythm that I heard from like John Hopkins, but I'm using like entirely different tones. It's a different context.
Got it.
And like that's, I guess when people say like you learn how to steal, it's you take something that you really admire and you use it in the context of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's a quote that I heard a long time ago. It said, "Good artists copy, great artists steal."
yeah, no, I mean,
How do you feel about that?
I have mixed feelings about it because there's like that one song where they just rip the Carlos Santana groove, solo, and
completely.
I'm like, did they clear this or what?
Yeah.
You know, but then at the same time, like,
because new disco is very, it's questionable.
It's been
you know
done.
what I mean?
It's been done, and I think at the same time though, like the stuff that kids are making now with new disco, like it couldn't be done back then. Like there's certain like sound and texture and vibrance,
Production quality.
Yeah, you can't get that. Like a good example, I guess, is like the Beatles and Across the Universe. And like you hear a Beatles track and you love it, but like Bono's cover of Lucy in the Sky, and it's like the production quality is insane, and it takes the song to a completely different place. And it's like, could the Beatles have ever done that with the gear that they had? Or could they do it now?
Okay, so I see where you're coming from, and I do like how you're saying that if you can improve it to like today's standards of what can be produced, then it makes sense.
You put your spin on it.
Because I was listening to you ever heard of One Direction? they had this one song called The Best Night Ever. And it starts off dun dun dun, and then you listen to it, you really listen to it. You're like, wait a minute, that's the exact same song from was it The Who, Baba O'Reilly?
Damn.
But the thing is, they didn't add anything to it to make it better. Like it's
and like I said before, like there's a line, you know, I can't just say like screw that, you know, because there's been plenty of times where like right now I listen to a lot of like Bonobo and like Burial and Fortet and all that. Like those are my guys that I listen to excessively. And so like I find myself trying to mimic it in a sense, like the Zach Gray remix that I put out today. It's like
that was already sounding really dope. I really want to hear it.
But yeah, it's like a total like 2-step garage vibe. The samples I used, not so much, but like I had that in mind, and it was because of what I've been listening to, whether I wanted to make it like that or not. It's just where my heart was. And like, I feel like that's how it is for a lot of people. It's like, I'm not trying to sound like anyone specific, but you have your influences, and whether you, even if you try desperately to sound like
exactly like
you, or even just yourself, if you're like, hey, what's Chuck sound like? It's like, Chuck sounds like everything that he's been in contact with for the last.
Exactly. You're going to take anything inspiration.
It's all like, it's your location, it's who you hang out with. Like, you'll hear a lot about artists traveling to some random like remote area in Mexico, or a place where they don't speak the language, or a place where they're completely out of their comfort zone because they know that the change of scenery will change the sound. And like, it's really all that. Like, you can try to mimic people, and some people do it.
So I'd say for you, like what are your inspirations? Like what has like made you mold into the person you are now?
A lot of it is, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of my songs come from observations of things that I don't really like about myself, and like trying to explore it without being too like self-loathing in a way. And it helps me kind of explore these things, and even like getting to play it out is like therapy, because it's like you're facing it every single time. That's really cool, you know. But a lot of it is observations of myself or how other people treat me, which is like every artist. And then as far as like why I go for the sound that I do, and you'll notice with a lot of my songs that are coming out this year, even with the remix I put out today, is I love not having drums in songs. Like, I will spend
no percussion.
No, I'll spend a whole like minute 45 seconds just doing a really long build of just texture and sound before I put in any other instruments.
Wow, that's dope. So you always do like synths and all that before you do?
Yeah, I like slow building emotional like stuff, and a lot of that's from like Radiohead or like I said Bonobo or Burial, where you're creating more sound spaces, and especially for the type of voice that I have, it just feels right to go in that direction. I like very like cerebral, spiritual feelings in the song.
Yeah. So
I try to achieve that. I don't always succeed because sometimes I just want to make some fucking banger, you know?
That's dope though. Because I'm mostly like, it's funny because it's the one music I can't really make, but I love very experimental, like jazz or just like, I guess it'd be jazz, like that free where it's just random. There's just one of my favorite producers would be Cam Blaster. Have you heard of him?
Oh,
you need to write
Blaster.
all the stuff that you recommend.
Yeah.
If I say I haven't heard of it, just write it down.
And I will say this about Chuck. If anything, this guy knows music. Like,
oh, I bet.
Kinda. He's put me onto so many artists that I would never have found had it not been for this guy. Right. So like, yeah.
So I have a question for you, because you DJ as well.
Yeah.
And do you like when you find new music and you'll find stuff that you like, but do you remember specifically like, okay, I like that artist? Do you hold on to it? Because I'll listen to stuff I like, but I go through so many tracks that I kind of just like I'll forget about like where
for me, I guess like the one thing I'm super picky with music. That's why, and I know most people know what they want and know what they like, but me, I love hearing all different types of sounds in one night because I get bored super fast. Yeah. And it's funny, like most of my family and friends that I hung around, they're the same exact like me. Like we did not like one type of genre. We're like, yo, play everything. So when I collect so much music, but if I play that song more than 3 times, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's classics. There's always going to be classics, but a lot of the time, even those, I'm like, nah, I want to play something that I've never heard. That's why whenever I see a DJ that just plays, usually the ones that are playing exclusives are my favorite because I'm just like, they got shit. Like there's this guy named Phantom's Revenge. He's like a new disco guy, but he also does like he's on DJ my USB DVD rip. Yeah, he's tight. Like he's dope. But he did this one mix, and it just had the most like exclusive tracks that I've never heard before because I couldn't find any of them. Yeah. I was like, damn, but that's is what exciting. I like.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about like labels and collectives is like, yeah, it's like a cool club and it's really just to create a sense of belonging for you and you want to rep it and it's cool. But half the fun of that is just like you have access to a whole library of music that all of you are making, and then like it'll be unreleased stuff or just it's exclusive to you, so you'll get to play out all these tracks before anyone else gets to hear them. And that's like
interesting. I never even thought about.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like
yeah. It's really
how
really
a collective can be like a sense of belonging.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I guess Matt Zo kind of explained that to me last time I was with him. He was like, that's really all the point is, at least these days. Before like labels were just kind of like, all right, we're gonna put you on, you need us, you know. But now there's so many cases that show you that's not the truth anymore. You don't need
times have changed.
Yeah, you don't need a label anymore to do anything. And really now I feel like you join a label because you respect the people that were already doing it. Like I want to join Ninja Tune because I love the artists that are on it, or like Brain Feeder. You see the work they put out and it resonates with you and you're like, I want to be a part of that club because it's people that I respect and I want to be seen as like at that level. You know? And
then in a way it would also like it would influence you and kind of like hype you up to make better stuff too.
Yeah, like and that's what I was saying before about like with the whole Mad Zoo thing. I don't expect to release anything on it, but it's a serious privilege of just being able to engage with the other artists, send them stuff, and like just hear what other people are doing because they're so good. And so you're like, shit, I gotta step it up. I always gotta keep improving. Because
is there one thing that you prefer to do over the other, whether it's songwriting, singing, or producing, or is it like something like the perfect storm when you're able to do all three on the same?
it's kind of like what Chuck was saying, where you get bored with one thing after a while. Because I'm sure, like, as someone with multiple hobbies, you can't do one thing for too long.
Mm-mm. Chuck has ADHD. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
You can't stay on one thing for long.
I
man.
like doing everything I possibly can.
It's not a bad quality to have, but
started getting into 3D modeling. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
I don't know. It's just fun.
It's fun.
I like shit.
As far as the process goes, I will say it's a lot easier to produce a record if I've already written it as a song. Like if I've like have a guitar and vocal part, it's easier to arrange the song around that because it's already in your head in a way. But at the same time, like every morning I usually start with just making beats, and that's usually my route nowadays, and I'll spend a separate day doing like vocals and stuff. But
what you do right now is an everyday practice. You make music.
Yeah, just make a beat
you try to
every
make
day.
music every day.
Yeah, and it's not stuff that I typically keep all the time. Like one of the best things I did for myself this year was I'll write out a loop, like an 8-bar or 16-bar loop, and like each part will be in MIDI, or like it'll be audio, whatever. Like I'll have all these parts sectioned out, and it'll be something that I like, but it's not something I want to continue working on. So I'll put it in a library on the side. And so it's like later on, I'm like, okay, I'm working on a track and I can't think of a bass line. I'm stuck, but I have all these bass lines that I wrote. I have all these chord progressions that I wrote. And so I can just, it's like a
little kit.
Yeah. It's like
the
Splice,
Olan kit.
but it's shit that you did. So you can go back. You can always go back to that.
Yeah, because I used to do that. Like I used to just do like 4-bar or 8-bar loops.
Yeah.
You know, especially in the NFL because it's so easy.
Yeah.
And I just make all these percussion things and just make a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And then, but I started getting lazy, and I started hearing people's cool kits, and I was like, damn, these are really good sounds. So I was like, that's the one thing I'm still learning. That's why I like it. I'm still learning the whole process and everything. Mm-hmm. But I did want to ask something about like how'd you run into Matt Zoe and all that?
Oh man. I sent him, I think he was just asking for vocals. I want to say I was still living with my dad in Europe at the time. This was in 2013 or 14.
Oh, you were in Europe?
Yeah, my dad works for the Fed, so I was with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Belgium. But I sent Matt this like trash acapella. It was so bad.
Trash.
Yeah, it was so bad. And then he was like, okay, like your voice is cool, but like the sound quality isn't there. And it's funny because he still rips on me about this. But then a few years later, actually, when You Leave came out, I sent it to him, and he's like, this is actually really good. And turns out I live in Vegas. He's in LA, so I just came to hang out. Like he just invited me over, and
oh wow.
One of the first songs on my EP coming out is with him. And
it's gonna be so dope. I can't wait.
It was cool. It was fun because he's moved so quick. Like you see what he does and you're like, oh duh. Like you see the process and it makes sense, but you don't think of it that quickly. You're not like, okay, this is what I do next, and it's just a constant flow, and that was pretty wild. And like I said, it's more of like a family friend type thing where like I don't expect to really release through them, but it's someone that I can always go to with a serious question or with help, or they let me play shows, they let me play Mixmag, which was cool. But
so we'll go on 2 things.
Yeah.
So first thing is you played Space Yacht.
Yeah, the first one I did was in November with
and that was that sound, right?
that one was that sound with it was Matt, A-Track, and the M Machine, and
Damn,
my
that's
friend,
A-Track, isn't that?
And then my friend.
the turntablist, but he's also, I guess, a producer and everything too.
But,
and then M Machine
that's
too.
Chromeo's brother.
Yeah, the M Machine
right?
and my friend Alex Barthol.
Little brother, right?
Chromeo's little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And my friend Alex Barthol, who had a release on the Zoo, and he's a sweetheart and really phenomenal producer.
What type of music?
It's very
electronic.
And he likes making really ambient stuff, but it's just very lush, I guess is the only way I can consider
Lush?
it.
What would that be?
Lush. Because like the first song I heard that he made, it was such a banger. It was like so heavy, but none of the sounds were aggressive.
Oh.
Where it's like, yo, this shit rides, and it just bumps, but it's not in your face.
I'm about to listen to it.
Yeah, I gotta.
Because I think I've heard one of his tracks. It sounds so familiar.
Alex is dope. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first one, and that was very intimidating because that was my first time experiencing something like that. But they made me a cool goodie bag. And then the second one was, like I said, with their, it was like a women's benefit at Union nightclub. And that was, it was a fun experience. I guess it was just overwhelming because there were like 5 stages.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, it's
How big is Union?
like EDC.
It's huge. Yeah. It was like,
Baby EDC.
it's a huge venue. And so like, that was a bit like that, along with being around so many women that are just like,
killing it right
killing
now.
it. Yeah. It was really crazy. So
Wait, who are all there? The DJ wise?
God, it was a long list. It was a lot of girls. I guess some like highlights were like Whipped Cream, Kendall, Anna Luna, Cruella, Ducky. Who's
Perez,
Gina?
right?
Yeah, Gina, who used to be married to Laidback Luke.
Gina Joy.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
there. I think. Yeah, but I'll look back on the lineup and be like, wait, what? And I didn't see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Kalina.
That's dope though. And then you also played Mixmag.
Yeah, that was last month.
How was that?
That was super fun. That was actually really, really, it was weird because like what helped is that because I was staying with Matt, I got to, like, I was opening for him. So it's like, okay, I already know what he's going to play. I already know the vibe. So we would take turns kind of just getting our practice in. And like, that was a huge benefit. So that like, because I already knew what to expect going in, and I got to practice because I don't have a DJ controller at home. Usually I just show up and play.
What's a DJ? You guys are gonna have to
Like
put me up to speed on
just like
all
the
things.
DJ, like it's just
the
a
controllers
controller.
to mix on, yeah.
Oh, okay, the turntable.
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah.
that. at
You don't
home.
have that? Just take Chuck. She doesn't use it.
Yeah, you can take my vinyls. They're all yours. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm wondering why you're always like, well, do you still get super nervous all the time? Because I do. I get nervous all the time.
Not necessarily nervous. I get excited now. Before,
that's good.
Yeah, before I used to be like, but now I think I've done it enough to where I'm like, even if I haven't played in a little while, it'll take a couple songs to get the groove. But once you're in, you know. But
I get tricked too many times by my own songs. I'm like, I don't even know this track.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play it. I don't even know what happens, and it does some
Yeah.
weird shit, and I'm like, oops.
I'm gonna sound like an old person. What is a Space Yacht party?
Space.
oh man,
You say yacht
What-
or
I say
yacht?
Yacht?
yeah,
Yacht,
like
yeah.
a boat.
Like little yachty.
Space Yacht is this. I want to say it's weekly. It's in LA.
Every
it's
Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, and it's like it's these kids that throw a weekly party, and it's like a secret lineup. But then you go there, and it's like I said, it's like A-Track and or you know.
So basically, what they do is they don't release the lineup till like day before or
No,
day
they don't
of.
at all. You show up, and
Yeah, it's just like-
Is that kind of like Tuesday Blend? No.
No.
Okay. I
Because
don't-
Tuesday Blend, I think they show all the artists. It's more of like
Okay.
if you knew like these random shows, they pop up and Chromeo's there sometimes or Breakbot's there.
yeah, Steve Aoki. It would just be
Yeah.
like some like.
They get headliners.
Yeah,
for sure.
they pull like.
Oh, dang.
And now they're starting to branch out, but
You said it's a weekly thing?
yeah.
Yeah, every
Damn.
Tuesday.
And they bring pizza.
Damn.
It's like a low end theory, you know. It's super exclusive, super like. It's just a hype thing now, which is good. Not bad hype, but just like it's that exclusivity, and
Yeah.
it's also that, like Ham on Everything does that. A few other parties been doing that, and I've always wanted to do something like that
Like
out
a
here.
secret lineup.
It's just
Is that like
nobody
a
in
monthly
Vegas.
membership, or do you gotta pay?
Oh no.
for tickets?
Nah,
It's like
you just
it's-
go.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's free, and then like if you did an RSVP, it's like $10. But $10 to
charge you
see
$10.
like Treasure Fingers or something.
Like,
Like
what?
Yeah,
Like,
you're like
that sounds
what?
tight.
Yeah, that's the cheapest I'm ever gonna pay to see like the whole like 4B crew or something like that. Like
I'm happy, like, because I've seen them grow, you know, from when they first started doing their little pizza. They give out pizza too.
yeah, that
so
part's
you know.
fun.
So
We
it's
gotta
kinda
go.
tight.
We have to go.
I'm here for the
If
pizza.
anything, $10 for pizza.
No,
I'm in.
RSVP, bro. That's free. So you get a free pizza.
You just have to fist fight everybody for it.
Yeah.
Really?
Because they can't bring enough to fill the whole venue because it pops off every
Is
time.
it just pepperoni pizza, or is it like all
I
kinds?
think they do cheese.
Yeah, and probably cheese and pepperoni.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't put like meat lovers.
Nah.
I'm not
is
saying I'm
this?
complaining. I'm not
Fool wants a
complaining. But
specific one.
I got pineapples on that, bro.
That's crazy. So, going off of the other thing you said too, your debut EP
Yeah.
comes out when?
Let's talk about that.
Fall.
Yeah, it's looking like October now. I've been working on this since February of last year. And it's kind of like I'm annoyed by myself because I've already started on the second one. without like in this, the first one isn't like fully mixed yet, but I'm done recording. I just have to finish the process. I'm working on the artwork and all that. So it's just in its incubation. Yeah.
That's dope though. It's done. How many tracks on it?
Just 4.
4?
Yeah.
That's the EP usually, right?
Yeah. And then the second.
What does EP stand for? Sorry to cut you off.
Epilogue? No, I'm just kidding.
Is it?
I have no idea.
It stands for extended play.
Why does it always have to be such short? Like,
yeah, if it's extended play, how come I only got 2 songs?
That's what I never understood. That's what I've never understood.
What is it?
Because there's EP, LP, long play, which I think goes back to the vinyl days.
Like,
that long play energy.
Oh my goodness.
And so Matt Zoe's on the first track. We could say that, right? Well, we already said.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Anybody else featured on there?
I don't know if you guys know Scartoon, Anthony.
Scartoon.
Yeah,
he's on me.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. But yeah, we did a song together. That was gonna be on the second one, but then we were like, nah, it fits really well with the first, because the first is very. It's got synth elements in it, but it's very much a live record. And like I recorded a lot of parts at 11th Street. There's live drums on it, and like now my process for song making is I build as much of the beat at home, and I'll come up with lyrics and everything, and then I take it to 11th Street and I'll record anything that I can't do at home. So like live drums and all that.
I'm talking about 11th Street Records. Mm-hmm. I've never been there, but I've seen everybody take pictures there.
It's a fun spot.
So they have a recording studio, right?
Yeah, in the back.
But they're also in like a
actual record store. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
It's a good spot. They're very nice people.
That's good.
I think I've seen Cameron Calloway there.
Yeah.
He
played a show there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of people from the Vegas live sessions, basically, from what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, so I want to jump in on a question real quick.
Yeah, my bad.
When you write music, do you usually write it like in the studio, or do you find it's better when you're out somewhere? You know what I mean? Because I would imagine it's kind of like you get, I don't know, like, because I used to write music too, and I always found it better like if I was like out at Mount Charleston or something, or if I was like at a coffee shop or something, because then you just hear different sounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and it's like what we were saying earlier about location having an effect on your creativity. And
I was back full circle.
Yeah. Well, but it varies. It varies all the time. Like, but I do find that I'm more productive when I have like other energy in the room. Mm-hmm. I'm not that's why I'll walk to Starbucks, and just the walk itself, like you get to see things happen, and that's nice. And then you get to Starbucks, nobody's gonna bother you. You just put in your headphones, and I find myself being able to finish ideas quicker.
Yeah.
And then I'll go home and like mix and all that, because like I said before, my headphones aren't they're good, but if I want to mix some sub and like really get into the depth of the song, I'll bring it back to my house, and then after that I'll send it to friends for proper roasting.
Is that what it's called, roasting now? Or is
no, I just call it that. Yeah, I call it that because I could say criticism or feedback, but
proper roasting.
Yeah,
hey, I kind of like that.
I thought it meant roasting as in like
no. I'm like, hey, yo,
mixing the track.
Burn this to the ground. Tell me what sucks about it so that I can fix it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's dope though. I've actually I'm gonna start doing that.
Proper roast.
Roast me, please.
Keem will roast the shit out of me. He really will. I don't roast shit because I don't know. We say this every damn time, but creativity is subjective to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, there is people who suck at what they do and they need to stop, but
dude, it's crazy. I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast, but like whenever I put out a photo, like let's say I put out a set of 3 photos, my least favorite is the one that gets liked the most. Like I just put out a carousel the other day with 3 photos in one post, and I was just gonna post 2 photos, and I was like, let me just post this 3rd one, right? I was like, no one's gonna scroll to the 3rd one. And then one of the comments is like, yo, that 3rd one, you just elevated, bro. I'm like, damn it. Like,
it's always
he's like, I took it on my iPhone.
Yeah. And I think that kind of goes back to what we were saying about, like, no, it doesn't go back to anything we said. I thought we talked about this before, but I talked about
fart.
Yeah, I talked about this before with someone else today. That you have to, you can't think too much about what you're doing. Like even if it is like really complicated jazz, whatever the genre is, like you can only put so much thought into it before it's overdone. Like it sucks the fun out of it, and especially with like I'm not gonna lie, with dance music especially, I have to work really quick because then you
get tired.
You start
because then
thinking
you
about
make
your sins,
another,
man.
you do another melody and you're like, oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I'm about to go to the next
You'll
track.
keep reinventing the idea and then you don't get anywhere. And so you have to, and that's why like one of my biggest advice for producers is like, especially after you get your MIDI, bounce it to audio like immediately because it forces you to keep moving. Or like,
because then you're not changing the MIDI. You're
or
not,
like when you
I always wondered about that because like I've always wanted to produce too, but I'm not gonna lie, like I see like a small roadblock as far as like not knowing how to start, that I just don't even do it. But like, so when you produce music, you create like you have a MIDI keyboard or a MIDI something, and then that draws out the notes on the
and I mean you can use your mouse,
and you can draw it in,
but
when you can bounce it to audio.
It's just I usually play things in because I come from a musician background. It's just easier for me to play it in because otherwise I don't have any. I'm like, this is boring. You know?
What mainly primarily do you use to produce music?
Ableton.
Do you think Ableton? See, that's the thing, man. Is like I used to know people that was like, oh no, it's Logic. Logic.
Oh, Logic's dope. The thing is, the best DAW is whatever the fuck works for you. Like
digital audio workstation.
Yeah.
Because you can make a heater on GarageBand on your phone.
My brother,
you know?
my
can't
little
do it
brother
on
makes
FL
music
Studio,
too.
Damn, you hate FL Studio.
I mean,
Sam Gellatry's from FL Studio.
there's a lot of really good producers.
The homie Cam.
Pretty sure there's a lot of
Chance the
producers.
Rappers.
Pretty sure there's a lot of producers on SoundClick that were making
sure.
bangers on FL Studio.
Bro, there's this free program that I forgot who showed me. I think it was Georgia, but it's called
Georgia.
Caustic, and it was like she was making the craziest.
Is it kind of like GIMP
She's
for
so dope.
Photoshop?
Yeah, it's a free program.
a free
But dude,
program.
it has like it's actually really good. Like it's underestimated.
Yeah.
Like for sure, because she was making, but it just showed you like she was making killer tracks.
Oh, dude, Google has this audio interface that's free called Audio Tool, and it works like analog gear where you have like a drum machine and you click and drag cables into a mixer.
Wait, it's on Google?
Yeah, it's free.
I'm about to do that
it's
at
like
work.
It's a plugin. No, it's so much fun. I used to do it at work too, but like then all your effects are guitar pedals and you have to plug in the pedals and back into the mixer.
That's so
and it's
tight.
like
I've always wanted to get into that. What is that called?
Like modular synthesis?
Yeah.
Like
Jimmy
that.
Edgar and Sophie, I know they do that hardcore, you know, and
it's-
Sci-Ho and Mike Gal. Like, I was just like, damn, I really want to do this shit.
Oh, you said modular synthesis? What's that?
It's like I don't know if you've ever seen like Deadmau5's studio, but his like walls are just like, it's just walls of cables and
like patches? Like
patching,
Okay.
And
Like Roger Troutman did that.
Yeah.
He did a lot of that with his talk box.
You can do some crazy stuff with that.
Yeah.
Like she said, Deadmau5 has like literally like entire wall full of it. Like I think that's
There's
too
cables
much
everywhere.
for me. Like, cause I'm just like, okay.
But I mean, if all you're obligated to do is make music, and not even that, like Deadmau5 spends half of his time on so many other ventures. But if you have the money and the time, like,
Oh, for sure.
Have you seen Chromeo Studio?
Yeah.
All the synthesizers they have?
yeah.
Who probably knows now? Because that was like 2000 something, like 7, I think, or 2011.
No, they've had some updates.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
bro.
seen.
I mean, it's still
Dope.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of this. It's still the same. They have their go-tos because especially with that style, you see a lot of people using like the Lin drum and
Yeah.
you know like the 909 kits and all that.
Because
But
DeBall and all them use that, and I know Oliver's studio, if that's even their studio, man.
dude, it looks a lot like Chromeo's. Oliver.
I feel like
Favorite.
that. But
When I made When You Leave, it was because I was trying way too hard to be like Oliver.
They're so
They're
dope,
so
though.
good.
They're really
Yeah.
good. I
That
watch
new
their live
album's tight.
streams all day long.
I feel like that equipment costs a lot of money though. Like,
Oh, for sure.
How would if I wanted to start producing, like what do you think would be the best resource for sounds? 'Cause that's
VSTs.
Yeah.
VSTs.
Yeah.
People, and this is one thing maybe I don't know because I don't have a amazing ear.
Thanks,
but
Olan.
a lot of the VSTs, like, I don't know. I feel like they do a good
Do a
job
great
in
job,
emulation. Like there's not a huge
I think
difference.
personally I use everybody's going out.
Just pop that P.
Oh my god. But I typically use like Serum, which is from I think that's from Deadmau5's company, or Steve Dutta, same shit. But like I use that. People use like Silent, they're massive, but you just those synths are good and they're affordable. And another thing with analog synths that is it's kind of like it's pros and cons to both. It's affordability and accessibility, but with analog synths you get the warmth and like character.
Yeah.
But at the same time, especially with like the Moog synthesizers, you have to tune them. You have to tune each oscillator, and they slip out of tune.
Yeah.
So if you're playing live with a mini Moog or something, you have to worry about it slipping out of tune while you're playing.
I never knew. How does it slip out of tune exactly? Like are the knobs just moving?
I couldn't
from
actually
the vibrations, or is it like?
I couldn't explain it to you, to be honest with you, but
the same way a piano goes out of tune, bro. Just
maybe I don't know. It just
Well, I mean, piano makes sense to an extent because
it's still strings.
Yeah,
it's still
strings.
But if it's electronics, I mean, I would imagine it's almost the same thing.
Electronics
if it's
untune themselves.
I honestly don't know how to explain it.
But there's physical knobs on it, though.
That's what I mean. Is
You
it
know
like
what I
the
mean?
vibration slowly turning the knob? You know what I mean? Or
Could be.
something?
Could
like,
be wear and
I don't
tear.
know.
Or is it like how
But
the
I've noticed
Moog-
with like because there was one time at 11th Street where Malcolm really let me be a kid in a candy store because they had like a Juno model. They had a bunch of like Moogs in there, and he was like, "Just go for it."
That's so
Damn.
tight.
That's how I go. Every time I go to Guitar Center.
Yeah, and I remember using this. I want to say it was a Taurus. I don't remember, but it was like this really like. It was a great synth for basses, and I was like, "Oh, I can record with this," but we literally just said "fuck it" because we couldn't keep it in tune. And I was like,
Damn.
"Yeah, I'm not dealing with this. Like, I'd rather I'll just build the synth, myself." But the concepts are the same. As if you can honestly, a lot of my songs now are with Ableton's like stock plugins, like the analog and operator. It's like stuff that comes with the program.
Yeah. How much does Ableton cost? Is that
The full
expensive?
suite's like $800, yeah.
Okay.
But it's like, it's everything you need.
I think I
more,
paid
yeah.
like $400 for Pro Tools.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I don't think it
has.
has any great tools inside.
I think Pro Tools you can
Pro
do some
Tools-
damage.
Does it?
Yeah.
You can do some damage in it.
Yeah.
I've heard some
With the
dope-
stock stuff though.
At least
I would
the
never say never.
processing, like EQ and compressors and all that. Yeah.
Oh no,
good.
I've got the Abbey Roads. I've got everything.
Yeah.
I've got, what is it called? What is it called? The
I don't know. You're the mix man.
The what's it called? Bro, it's been years since I've mixed music, but it's that expensive. That has the whole SSL collection for all the
Complete?
Oh, the
yeah.
what's
What's
it
it called?
Contact or Waves?
Waves.
Waves. Yeah, I have the whole Waves bundle, but like I use it very like sparingly just because
It's so easy to get lost in all that stuff
it's
and
really
get carried
easy
away.
to overdo.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really easy to get carried away, and I think like I mean that's what I was saying before, where the best DAW for you is what you already know.
Yeah.
And yes, you should try new things, of course, but when it comes to like getting the idea out quickly as you can, which is important when you're first initially writing a song, stick to the stuff you know, stick to the EQs and compressors you know, stick to the synths you know, because then you already have the technique in your head. You already know what you want to hear in your head, and so you just execute. You don't have to sit there and figure out how to make a fucking square wave and, modulate it and all that. You just do it because you already know how to do it, rather than trying to reading a manual. Like with production, the best thing you can do for yourself is set it up to where you can just go.
Yeah.
That's great. That's dope.
That's kind of like with this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The best way to be successful is to have something to where it's like you don't put any roadblocks for yourself. It's just
like just yesterday I was like, I really should plug in my keyboard.
I saw that.
And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm not in the mood, because it has like it's like the actual MIDI thing to USB, and like it's a real flaky cable. They're hard to find, and I was just like, not.
Started using a keyboard.
Yeah, I'm not in the mood, so I just did that, and I have an APC, so any like automation or anything I can just do on that. But
that's kind of why I want a studio, to kind of have everything set up nice.
Yeah,
my room's still too small for all that, but I just want to have all my MIDI ready.
Just ready to go. Yeah.
Like, even though that it will probably still mess up, because that's just technology to a certain point.
But still, like you're more likely to want to sit down and work on something if everything's already set up for you.
That's true.
We get a house, bro.
Yep.
We get a house together.
Yeah.
When we get
A bigger house.
Yeah, with AC.
With a
Sorry,
I
Olan.
feel that, dude. I'm chilling.
We're doing this podcast out of our kitchen.
No, you have to keep in mind I'm from the South, so like I'm used to swamp ass.
Oh hell yeah. Swamp ass.
Damn, our house is swamp ass, bro.
Yeah, I'm getting. No, I'm saying. I mean that by like my butt.
feel you.
My
Swamp
butt is
booty.
sweating.
We had a guy in here.
My tushy.
we
My
had
tush is sweating.
Mario in here. He had to stand up. He was like, man, my legs are cramping up.
Yeah, he was like, he stood up. I had to change the camera angle and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, is there anything like, when you're inspired but you're on the road or something and you don't, what is the best way to keep like a beat or a rhythm? Do you have
Voice
anything?
memos.
Got it.
Your
Voice
phone.
notes.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the newer iPhones, I have a Droid because I don't like spending a lot of money on phones. But the best thing about the new iPhones is they come with GarageBand.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if you guys know Hunter Gorman, super sick producer. I think he goes by HKG, but I just call him Hunter. But one time he came to Anthony's house and we were working on a track and he just records his voice into GarageBand and there's a sampler on there. And so he used that as an instrument and recorded it back into the mic. And it's like, dude, that's super sick. But
that's so dope.
A lot of my song ideas start as playing guitar and singing in the bathroom with my phone like in my lap and I'm sitting on the toilet like scrunched up because the acoustics are nice.
Yeah.
But that's how it starts, or I'll beatbox into the phone. Like
I was like, damn, that sounded really good.
Boop. But
Have you ever heard of Steve Lacy?
You know, from the internet? I think.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry.
He produces on GarageBand on his iPhone.
Yeah, he records everything through his phone. I mean, Esther started with his GarageBand as well.
Bonobo does that too. A lot of it's really popular now to do found sound, where you're like, let me just record with all this background noise, and that adds the texture and character.
It's like
since you can't get like the analog warmth, you just.
What is that called when you like that filter that everybody does, like vaporwave and
like chill wave and stuff.
I can't think of the name right now. It's what Malgrab plays. His type
like lo-fi.
Lo-fi. I was like, what is the word? Yeah, like
lo-fi house.
I really like that. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just in the trends, but I was like, I don't know why it's so dope to me.
No, it's got character. Like, it's really cool because, there's tools like Splice that are sick as fuck, where you have access to literally any sound you can think of, and it's honestly overwhelming to the point where like I try not to use it so much because I have to limit myself, otherwise I can't create. And the cool thing about doing this whole found sound thing, which is funny because Splice comes out with found sound packs, and it's like, bro, like it's a wood clip, but I'm like, bro, just record you tapping on the table and it's the same shit.
Yeah.
You know? But
we should do that.
Yeah.
And release a preset pack.
Yeah.
Olan, you should release your kit and everything.
I do have one. I took it down, but like 6 or 7 months ago, I made an entire sample pack out of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
And
wait, what do you mean? Like a sound kit?
Yeah, so it was drum samples and one shots and like phrases and stuff.
How did you get drum samples from a TV show?
You synthesize them. Like Ableton lets you like take any sound you want, and it's kind of like a filter situation where you just
cut out a certain
frequency. You manipulate it to the point where it sounds like anything.
Kick.
And that's what I was saying before. You can record any sound and turn it into whatever.
That's magic, dude. That's
like
awesome.
This can be a snare. Like that can be your snare, and if you know how to process, then it can sound thick.
Thick as fuck.
That's artistry, man.
Have you seen the Boiler Room with like Sam Gellatry and all them, and like they pick like it's so dope. So what they do is they
everyone else has to contribute a sound.
Yeah, the people who follow it, they
cool.
just send in random samples. Like anybody can send in a random sample, and what those artists have to do is try to make a track, and they're all like bangers. Like every single
really
person on there has been a banger.
Decentralized production.
Well, I think they're smart about it, and they pick kids that already are so fluid with their creativity. They know how to just tune into that.
Sam Gellatry is like one of my favorites. I don't know why I like the kid so much. He's
good.
He's just really like,
he's really good.
Like I love Oshi and all that. Like, but I don't know Sam Gellatry. What is the girl on there? What's her name? She's she does grime music, or what is
she in
called?
Selection?
No, she was one of the. Damn, I don't even want to continue because it's just gonna
go off on a tangent.
Yeah, it's just gonna be quiet because I can't figure out what it is. Like I'm hella brain, but yeah, like that's what I've been trying to like finally do is start doing more real sounds, like record with my H4n and just have fun with it because it's just practicing. I'm not really gonna release a track, but I want to learn how to manipulate things like you were saying. So that's really dope.
If anything, it teaches you how to like really learn how to engineer.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, I got to make this knock just as hard as everything else. And somehow people do. And like, it just goes to show it's really not about like your equipment. It's really more about the time you're willing to put in and being patient with that that process.
Yeah.
Which is something that I often find myself struggling with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that next level, man. There's this producer on YouTube. I forget his name, but it might have been Mike Colombo. Mike Colombo on YouTube. He's a producer, and he did a whole series where he just did it with like household appliances. Like he made an entire song with like things in his kitchen or something like that.
I think
and
that's
he just
super
took the
interesting.
sounds.
There's a kid named Andrew Huang on YouTube.
Yeah, Andrew Huang is amazing.
I love watching him because he talks a lot about workflow as well, which I really appreciate. I wish more people would just talk about workflow instead of like how to sound like blank. It's like just teach me how to get the ideas out of my head. And Andrew Huang's really good at that, especially for like the found sound stuff. He can make a song out of anything. Yeah.
When he did like the pizza box, I was like, whoa. All Def Digital does that too now. They do the crate, and they have a whole bunch of random things in the crate, and they like make a track out of this.
Make a track full.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
It's
That's a good idea.
Haven't All Def Digital?
I've never heard of that, bro. No,
Yeah,
you gotta put me on, man. I'm asleep.
And I want to go back on this one. For is it Zach Gray remix?
Yeah.
So
I just put that out
influence
today.
and everything, like how'd that come about?
So the song itself, Zach put out in February, I want to say. And Zach's one of my favorite producers in the city, just because the quality is there. Like every time the dude delivers, and just in quality of sound, it's one of the best acapellas I've heard. He knows how to like layer harmonies really, really well, and it sounds just super clean. So I had a blast. But I ran into him at a coffee shop, and I was like just going through it, and I was like, dude, your song like is helping me process my thoughts. Like,
we're actually gonna have Zach on here.
You should. Yeah.
He has a single coming out next month.
Yeah, he just
September.
finished a track with Blake earlier this week.
Yeah, and he wants
yesterday.
to do a podcast episode like the week before or something.
Yeah, which is smart.
Who's Blake? James Blake?
Blake Weisner. He's also sick as hell. Like, but yeah, I kind of had to bug him a bit because Zach works on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
At once, he's like me, where I'm like just taking on more than I can chew, and it gets done, but it takes time.
Yeah.
But I kept bugging him for stems, and then
what's a stem?
It's just where like each individual track, like vocals, guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm saying for the listeners.
Oh,
you know
I was
what
like, wait, what? Like, I was like,
no, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm using like
saying.
You're good.
It's really easy. It's really easy when you're talking to kind of like not notice that what you're saying may be complicated to somebody listening.
Yeah.
So I always like to like kind of break it down.
Yeah.
Kaki King.
Like what is holy ship, or what was it space yacht?
Space Yacht.
Holy ship is dope too. Yeah.
Not anymore since
All
Gary
right.
Richardson.
Whoa, we might get sponsored by them, bro. Chill.
Holy ship.
I don't know.
Maybe
That's
one
Live
day.
Nation,
Might have
I
a
guess.
podcast on there one day. I don't know. Life
No,
is crazy.
I'd rather go with Amph. All my
my God.
friends.
But yeah. And the actual remix that I made, I did it in like 2 days, and I just sent it to him, and I didn't really think much about it. I was like, thanks for just letting me, because I just wanted to play around with the vocal, and he ended up wanting to release it, and I was like, oh, okay, now I actually have to mix it. And it's funny because like last night I kept bugging him like, yo, like please give me feedback on this, and we almost didn't release it today, and I was like stressing about it, and he was like, I sent him a new version. He's like, you overthought this way too much, and I liked the first one you did that you didn't take any time on. You were just in the moment, and you just mixed it way more than when you took 3 days on it, because you were being anal and like overdoing everything.
Overthinking.
Waves plugins, man.
Damn
You
you, Waves.
Damn you, Waves. But yeah, and we ended up using that, and he was kind enough to master it for me, and now it's out on SoundCloud right now, and it's free for download. So
I heard that one song by Zach that he put on YouTube, or I think that some YouTube channel took.
He just hit 1 million plays on
hit
one
a
of his songs.
million plays.
Hey,
Yeah.
congrats, Zach.
Congrats,
That's
Zach.
dope.
I was with him when it happened too, and it's funny because I was picking on him earlier because he was like he's getting a lot of traction lately. Like he's really getting hella plays on his stuff, and he's so excited, so he'll post about it. And I'm like, bruh, just let me know when you hit 1 million.
And he hit
was
a
like,
million?
Yeah, and he hit 1 million, and he was like, should I post about it? And I was like, yes.
100%.
Oh,
should.
always.
You should. That's something worth celebrating.
People think that celebrating your wins is like, oh, you're egotistical. Oh, you're no, bro.
And I've been guilty of that plenty of times. But yeah, it's.
You have to. You cannot live your life based on what other people think, man. You know what I mean? Like if I wanna post something that I'm proud about, dude, doesn't matter what you think about it. You know, if I'm happy with it.
Because you might inspire somebody you don't know. Like, that might inspire somebody like, damn, he hit 1 million. I want to try that too.
Yeah, and Zach's been in the game for a minute. Like, he's been on, like, worked his ass off the whole time and just, like, had to deal with shortcomings. Because that's a lot of the hard part about this whole career is, like, you spend all of your time getting really good at your craft, and there's always people that are going to tell you no for any reason. Yeah. And, like, yeah, it's really cool seeing, like, how hard he's worked, and that it's coming along for him to now he can be,
things are coming to fruition.
Yeah, he can put together a song and make sure it gets heard. Like, he doesn't have to worry about that.
See, that's tight.
And that's dope. Yeah, that's cool. That's not something a lot of people can say. And so, yeah.
And I wanted to ask about, like, who you're releasing your EP through. Is it just you, or?
I'm thinking about that. I want to do that. I'm thinking I'm gonna do self-releasing for right now, just because it's my first EP, and I mean, I might have played really cool shows, but I'm still not shit. Like, I still haven't I haven't proven myself as far as a songwriter and producer, because even though I've written tons of songs, I've never released a full body of work before.
I was gonna say, because I looked you up on iTunes, and you just have that one song, right?
There's nothing, and it's like I've written 14 song albums that are just sitting on my friend's computer. Damn, and they're never. I'd
love to hear.
It's trash. Don't worry.
I say put it out. That's what I say.
It's a rock album. You don't want to hear that.
Oh.
But you know what I mean? Like,
how do you know? How do you know it's
because
not going to change my life?
I was 17 when I wrote it. And
how do you know it's not going to change my life?
I don't know.
Change his life, Olan.
Have you no, dude, and we said it before with, like, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Switching to beer now.
Talking about what's up?
I'm going to switch to the beer now.
I'm going to switch to the beer?
Yeah,
Oh, go for it.
I haven't tasted it yet.
Go for it. You might want to get the other one. That one probably warm already.
It's warm, huh?
It's been chilling in the fridge for
you're
a
getting
minute.
all the flavors right now. That's like, you can switch it out.
Can I?
We're not going to drink it.
Yeah, go for it. I was just going to say, it's
this
kind of
episode
like...
is sponsored by Old English.
Yeah, Old English.
Oh.
I'm down. I'll take it.
I was going to say, it's kind of like Gary Vaynerchuk says, man, where it's like, you cannot be afraid to put something out, because what, you know, like, kind of with when he had Super Duper Kyle on there, and he put that one song, that girlfriend song or whatever, he almost didn't put that song out. He was like, nah, that's not good enough. And that ended up being the song that took him to the top.
Yeah, real talk, because he was a nobody. Like, he was always killing it, but that song really did. Like, I hear it all the time. I'm like,
so I don't think you should ever kind of, like, I don't know, limit yourself to not putting something out. Yeah, that's what this podcast is about. It's about conversation. Like, so yeah, sit back, drink a beer.
Because we did have a talk about
liquor.
that. You know what I mean? Like, just like release the stuff and get critiques on it. You know,
and move on.
for sure. Because that's one thing. And it's funny I say all this and I'm listening. I don't do that.
No, me neither.
I need to start doing that.
Yeah, and like working with Zach this morning, because he just came over, picked me up, and we just kind of touched up the song and dropped it, and like watching him work and mastering, like, it took him like just, you know, a few minutes. And of course that also has to do with the mix down. Like, if the mix down's good, you don't have to spend a lot of time, but just watching him do that and then let it go. And I was like, because if you just release more music, that's more chances for you to get found. 100%. And so, like, yeah, it's okay. Just be shitty for a little while. Just release some crappy songs, and
because you're gonna learn off that, and you can get critique. Like, I remember back in the day,
and you'll never know what people like you said.
Like, when I released tracks, I was like, I hit up like artists I looked up to. A little fly on the table.
Infested.
Yeah, we just got too much with this house. But like Funk and Matt, when Funk and Matt was doing like weird shit, like, I hit him up, and he personally, like, he's like, I never really message people back on SoundCloud, but he's like, I kind of like it where you went with this track, you know what I mean? He's like, you should do this, this, and this. And I was like, oh, that was dope. That really like made me happy, and it was just because I said, fuck it, I'm gonna release it. This is 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
But still,
you know?
like, you really never know, and like, in the end, it's still a reflection of you. Like, you made this. If you actually were able to finish the song, that speaks volumes. If you're able to finish the idea. And so, like, you should honor that. Like, I was able to finish this idea because, like, it is a part of me. It's a reflection of my life. And whether or not it's something that you, like, yeah, you can be critical of it, and that's fine. But to hold it back, it's something that I've had to force myself not to do, because it's not doing anybody justice. Like, you have this art, like, go ahead and share it.
And people probably gonna love it.
Yeah,
like,
somebody's got to hear it. Like, even if it's just like, if it's not don't worry too much about sound quality, because like, people that support you will stick by you even while it's, you know, it's still in its learning phases, and that's like
Or just call it lo-fi.
Just call it lo-fi.
I'm lo-fi. It's the style I'm going
It's
for.
my style. It's my aesthetic.
What's funny is I seen this graphic poster that showed like it showed like you using like a $10,000 microphone into a $50,000 console.
Still can't come up with shit.
And no, I'm saying, but like, bro. So the graphic was like you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on all this gear to make the perfect sound for somebody to listen to it out of $12 headphones.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I was joking with Zach earlier that half the time most people are gonna hear your shit in a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
You know, like
statistically speaking, it's gonna be a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, like people are gonna hear it
or a Nissan
with the bass boosted. You know.
Yeah, and they're gonna mix it to their liking.
Yeah, they're gonna throw that treble up and they're gonna throw that bass up, and it's gonna sound good to them. You know what I mean?
Or they'll rip it off SoundCloud, or like it's just shitty MP3s, and
there's a layer of static in there now.
Yeah, there was a really funny meme I saw the other day where it was like photos of a girl like applying makeup, and it was like each process of the mixing and mastering, and then it was just some like really ugly person. It was like the 128-bit SoundCloud rip.
Yo, remember that video I sent you last night, bro?
Which one?
The one with the girl doing the makeup?
Oh yeah, crazy.
That was a trip.
It was just like she looked completely different. Like that shit.
I'm actually gonna show you.
Scared me.
I took 2 screenshots because I sent
like,
you the video, but I was like.
That's how I feel about drag queens. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Because it's not even like making yourself look like a woman anymore. The trend now is like, I'm a artist. I'm gonna make myself look like.
Some of those people look so dope to me.
Yeah, like there's one called Kimchi, and she does like everything is a conceptual story. Like even just the makeup. I'm like, yo, you look like an.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. So here's the before.
Stop.
Here's the before.
Yeah.
After.
I'm annoyed. I'm
Isn't
upset.
that crazy?
Right?
What?
The reason I found this video is because the makeup artist posted it. She's like, oh, I'm all about beating that face, but this is just a trap right here. Like, this is just like crazy. It's not even the same person.
I think like she straight like tapes her cheeks because she has around her head and it goes like this. I was like, whoa.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's just too much, y'all.
It reminds me of Korea. My dad was in Korea for a bit, and I realized they had soaps that like turn your skin paler.
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
Hey, but it's a skill, bro. Think about it. If you're a fugitive running away from the law, if you're a fugitive, no one's catching her, bro.
She said
she gonna chill. She's gonna go to Fremont and she's gonna have a couple beers because no one's gonna
it don't rain out though.
Yeah.
Melts all that shit off.
Yeah.
Anything else? What is your last words? Keem has a really good last ending.
Well, usually, like, kind of one of the things that we ask every guest is, do you have any words of wisdom for people who are out there listening and kind of want to start a music career? Maybe are too shy to because they kind of compare themselves to other people.
Yeah.
Like, what words of advice do you have for people who are kind of insecure and kind of
Yeah. Like I was saying before, don't put too much thought into your gear or quality of sound. You just get the idea out, and don't worry about money. If there's one thing I learned this year, it's the more effort that I put into my work and trying to just be the best I can and just be grateful, the more people are willing to help you with the resources that they have. And just do that. Like, just work on yourself, focus on yourself. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. And I know that's like really cliche, but it's the less you worry about that, the less pressure you're going to put on yourself, and you can finish ideas, because that's all that really matters. Like, loops don't count. You have to finish the song.
Damn it.
And put it out. And you can't spend time thinking about what everyone else is going to think if you want to put that song out. And so just don't worry about money or gear, whatever. Just, even if it's just your guitar sitting on the toilet with a voice memo, do that. And that's what my SoundCloud was for a long time. So like, just keep at it, and eventually people are going to pick up. They're going to appreciate what you're doing, and they'll offer their help. Like, Paul even drove me to the interview today.
Thanks, Paul.
There you go. Thanks, Paul, man.
Because I don't
appreciate it. I don't know why when you said sitting on the toilet, I started sitting on the toilet.
Sitting on the toilet. And what are your words of wisdom? Sit on a toilet.
Nah, that's real. And if anything, hit up at Olan Sound.
Yeah, Olan Sound.
For some critique, because I'm pretty sure you reach back and kind of say what's up, right?
Yeah. I love talking about workflow and like just the process of producing. It's my favorite thing to do. So yeah, hit me up and we can geek out together.
But before anything, you said no loops. What do you think about new disco?
Bro.
What?
Oh, like French house, like that filter house, which is like, yeah, it's just a loop the whole time. But there's still variation.
I love it. I love it.
No,
I
I'm
love
saying
disco to death.
No, I'm saying like literally, if you only have 8 bars, and
10
that's all.
minutes long.
Yeah, where you're in Fruity Loops and you make a 16 bar loop and that's it, and then you quit, and it's like those ideas don't count.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
sure.
fully
Build the
realized
song.
compositions, and a way to do that is by working on a composition. Don't work in loops. Try to work in it as a full song. So
you gotta do is you gotta go in there. You gotta go into your DAW. You gotta
yeah,
sprinkle that sauce.
sprinkle that sauce.
Yeah.
Dessous.
Dude, I don't know why when you asked for that last question, you said something and then you stepped away. You stepped away from the microphone. I pictured chocolate rain.
That's funny. I completely forgot.
he said, so real quick.
Had to take a deep ass breath.
Oh, yeah. So what do you think about new disco? I'm like, that's not what I mean. Of course, like I love stuff like that. Like like French house. That's fine. I'm saying unfinished ideas don't count.
That's me.
Yeah, sorry, Chuck. Stop
damn it.
Yeah, bro.
Get on there, man.
He's got 663 drafts.
I will say, can I throw something at you?
Yeah.
What I'll typically do, and I might get shit for this, but I'll write 2 or 3 different loops with the same shit, like the same sounds, but I'll write A, B, and C parts, and that way you have your build up, you have your drop, you have whatever, and that's your whole song, and you can copy and paste it, and then from there you like have 3 minutes, and then you go back
Sprinkle little things
and
in.
yeah, you add the ear
whatnot.
candy,
Cool.
but that way you're working on an entire composition, and you can think with the bigger picture
Genius.
rather than just like, oh, let me work on this one fucking loop and not go anywhere.
Damn, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
actually, I'm going to do that tonight if I get some time before I go to comment.
It's literally the only thing that's helped me finish ideas, because otherwise you get stuck in like this
That little
sound.
part.
Yeah. So just write a few different parts with the same sounds, and then you pick which sections are, in the order.
Genius.
Yeah.
I like it.
I did not come up with that. So
Yeah, I love learning other people's workflows. Like
Me too, yeah.
I copy his when I'm editing. Like it
helps.
increased my workflow so much. Like the delete key and all that.
Oh, the shortcuts?
The simple shortcuts like help me out so much, and that's why I kind of wish I had a little bit more mentors around my life. But I have people like you guys now.
And a lot of it, like, a lot of it's just with your peers. Like I got good at longboarding because I hung out with people that knew how to do it already, and like that's really just a matter of what it is. Just hang out with people that are already doing what you want to be doing.
Hang out with like-minded people, good people
that keep you motivated, because otherwise you'll feel stagnant.
I say hang out with people who you feel are better than you, because then that way you have only
no choice but to improve.
Yeah, no choice but to improve.
Or you fall into a pit of
self-loathing,
or you
depression.
start comparing yourself. You're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Well, guess I'm going back to work.
Hopefully that's not the case, but you should surround yourself with people that will keep you motivated, because otherwise, especially if you're trying really hard to get somewhere, and it's really hard if no one understands. It's so hard if no one else can get it and appreciate it. Like, you have to be around people that are grinding just as hard, and it keeps you on your toes.
Damn, we almost wrapped up this podcast and not even asked the one question I really had in my mind. Is creative blocks. Do you get them, and how do you deal with them?
Honey, yes. Every day is an identity crisis for me. Yeah.
So okay, because that's one of the things that I kind of face a lot too.
Yeah.
And I can't be I can't be the only one.
It goes back to what I was saying about just not holding too much attachment to any idea. If you're constantly making and creating, it's harder to get really butthurt about one specific idea. You know what I mean?
One specific idea?
Yeah. So like, and another thing is, try to finish an idea in a day. Like, just try it out.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more you try to work quickly and just get it from your brain to the computer, you get better and better at it every day. And that's a lifelong process. But like, that way, when you do hit that inspiration when you're on the bus or whatever, you're like, okay, you kind of get it down, but then when you hit the computer, you can just go. The whole point of like learning technique is so that you can move quickly as possible. And that's really all it is. Creative blocks, if anything, if it's really that bad, go hang out. Go hang out with your friends.
Go do something
Wash
else.
your ass. Go eat.
Go wash your ass.
Yeah.
Wash my ass.
I wish people would stop glorifying like pain for their art, because it's bullshit.
Paying for their art?
Pain, like not sleeping, not eating,
and
like
pain.
Pain, yeah, like not talking to their mom. Like, dude, call your mom back. Like, if you take care of your body, take care of yourself, you'll be more creative, because you're not, on edge. You're not like putting that pressure on yourself, because you're already under physical pressure.
Yeah.
Then you're not gonna be like, I have to finish this song so I can. No, like, be comfortable as you can. And go from there.
I mean, do you make deadlines for yourself or anything?
Yeah, you have to. You have to make like make lists. Yeah, make lists as often as you can, because then like it solidifies. It's like a way of manifesting it, even if you haven't done it already. I'll make lists and then forget, and then next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I actually did it on time. Like I did it.
So it's subconsciously in the back of your head.
Yeah, like
I was gonna say one thing. Do you have any labels you're looking at, like that you might want to just release like non-exclusive stuff through? You know what I mean?
Ninja Tune, if you're listening.
Ninja
Tune, Stone's Throw, Brain Feeder, or like my.
That's tight.
Yeah, it's cool that you mentioned Georgia, because her drummer Ronaldo plays on my first EP.
Oh really?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's tight.
Person,
Yeah.
and some on the second as well, but yeah,
Georgia's a beast.
she is. She's.
We're gonna go ahead and take that soundbite and make it an Instagram story, and then you're gonna take that video for the Instagram story of you saying that. You're gonna get everybody to send it to that label.
Yeah, just blow them up, and they're gonna be like,
Blow
"Who
them up.
is this?"
Yeah, I definitely think you could get on there. No doubt. Like, have you seen the demos? Like, did they accept demos?
Yeah,
Or-
I remember with Ninja Tune at one point they were like, you have to send it. Like, it was a really complicated process where you could only send like vinyl.
What, vinyl?
At one point, this was years ago.
Damn.
Whoa.
Like, you had to send like an actual like hard copy.
Yo, you
couldn't-
gotta send a cassette
couldn't-
in.
Yeah. Now they take MP3s, but there was one point where like you couldn't send like digital copies unless I read that wrong. But I remember looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna send them anything. 'Cause
Like
I
a
can't-
vinyl, like you have to call up a printing press
Yeah,
vinyl
I'm like,
and
well,
you
like,
get them
what?
printed.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that, like make an album, because I found like sites that do like 200 vinyls for like 500
good
bucks
price,
or
yeah.
something. I was like, I'm about to make my own album, because no matter what, somebody out there is gonna be like,
Yeah.
I have to buy this. It's on vinyl,
Yeah.
because
But
it's
if you,
vinyl heads.
if you can
know?
find a label that will pay for
Distribute, yeah.
vinyl, like that means you're doing something right. Because that means it's gonna sell. Like they're not gonna. People don't just print out vinyl like that.
No, exactly.
No.
It's expensive.
It's expensive.
Super. I don't.
So if you find a label that's willing to invest in that, that means you're doing something right. But with
That's why I like DJ House's label, because he only does vinyl. He doesn't release
no,
digital.
not all labels are like that. But I've like I said before, with these kinds of labels, I really like them just because it's filled with artists that I already highly respect.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would love to work
Be in
with
that collective.
Yeah, just be in that collective, because I know that would put me on
You can
another.
get some dope sounds too. Like, hey,
I'll
here's a
learn
new
so
kick.
much. And a lot of it's just because I want to learn from these people so bad, and I want to work with them, and that's really more why I reach for
Yeah,
them.
that's my dream, to be on like
'Cause, I mean,
a
yeah.
label that I love. There's
Yeah,
so
because I
many
mean,
labels.
yeah, you can like go to Atlantic or Capitol, and that's cool. Like it's whatever works for you, but like I want to be with people that I really feel like are family.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I said before, like Mad Zoo is not necessarily like, yeah, it feels like family. Like it's people that I can talk to, and
How many people are on Mad Zoo?
I don't know. And the cool thing about the group chat is like it's a lot of kids that like aren't necessarily releasing on it, but they're just dope producers, and we'll just share.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's,
Are you talking about the group on Facebook?
Yeah, our little group chat on Twitter. We have a little
nice.
Nazi group chat, but yeah, like it's just I kind of tuned it out because I got a little overwhelmed, but I still talk to everyone individually. I'm like, hey,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Can you listen to my
can you roast this?
roast this?
Got
Yeah, but yeah, that's
The new one.
yeah, labels.
Dope, man.
Ninja Tune, please sign me.
Dope.
Good stuff, man.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you guys
Seriously,
for having me. It's
Yeah,
really
thank
cool.
you.
we always thank our guests, man, because like the thing about this podcast is like it really means a lot to us when people come out and they're willing to spend some time with us. You know what I mean? And kind of because ultimately our goal with this is to get people to know you too behind, because people can look at your Instagram, they can look at your
It's not the same.
Twitter. It's not the same as actually hearing you speak and seeing your philosophies on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
There's
And I
always
mean,
different
this isn't the
perspectives.
entirety of me. Like,
yeah. Oh
I
no.
think, I think it's really funny that people are like, they see how I am online,
Yeah.
and I'm very like bubbly,
Yeah.
but like I get pissed quick over things like because I'm very controlling,
Yeah.
and like it shows if you're like a really close friend of mine, you see how controlling, and like I have to have order in things,
Yeah.
and I have to have them go a certain way, and if they don't, then I'm like distraught. But I mean, no, it's good. It's good to have this sort of thing because then like I said, I love talking about just workflow and thought process.
It's gonna help a lot of people too who tune in. It helped me tonight. Look what I learned. About the building like the composition kind of at the beginning, and then even if it's not a full like different track all the way through, you still have your three parts.
I always wondered how I would record at Anthony's house, and I'd just do little bits, and then he'd send me a full track later in the day, and I'm like, what? And he's like, it's literally just copy and paste, bro. Relax.
Damn.
Well,
Good to know.
we're gonna go ahead and put all your information in the description for this video and also in the podcast. So if you guys want to hit her up, you want to just let people know real quick where they can find you.
Yeah, Olan, Olan sound is my handle on everything, including Tinder.
Nice. Good shit. Tinder.
Kidding, I don't have a Tinder.
Shit, Tinder.
But yeah, that's my plug for everything.
Cool.
Dope.
I guess that kind of wraps everything up, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next morning dinner.
Later,
Every
y'all.
time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.